YouTube? What's good? We're back in this thing. Today we're going to be going over this infinite clone effect that I saw in the Morgenstern music video. I just did a tutorial on this 3D clone freeze frame transition from this music video Wednesday. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. Shout out to all the Russian people in the comments. Mad love. I didn't know I had that many people watching me from Russia. Hopefully you guys are saying some nice stuff. I can't really tell because it's in Russian and it translates like mad weird, but appreciate all you guys. The video was edited by PQ and Skip a Frame. I'll have their Instagrams linked below as well as the video if you want to go ahead and check that out before you watch the tutorial. The effect's pretty simple to do. Honestly, the only hard part was getting the fade on the clone. I just thought you were going to be able to mask it and put a fade on it, but like for some reason After Effects is super weird with rotoscopes. So I found an effect that you just toss on, input some values, and it'll give you that look pretty easily. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I upload 3 videos a week, so there's bound to be some videos you like, as well as like and comment. It really does help support me as a creator and push my videos to other people. So if you could take a second and do that, I really appreciate it. We're going for 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and like 60-something% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So go ahead, do that real quick. Appreciate you. If you're looking for some high quality digital assets to help you speed up your editing process, maybe improve the quality of them, go over to my website, briandelmata.com. It's the best way to support me as a creator, as well as there's some high quality digital assets such as my texture pack. It helps you get the Og and Lone Wolf style paper effects and transitions, as well as a thermal pack that gets you that thermal look, as well as a CRT pack, and a lot more to come very soon. So if you're interested in any of those, I'll have it linked below, as well as some playlists of tutorials on those packs. But yeah, that's enough talking. Let's get into the video, break down this effect, because it's pretty simple and I think it looks really cool. So now that we're in After Effects, I want to go ahead and show you the effect we're going over, what they did, and then kind of what I came up with. So this is their effect. It just zooms out and has the clone like fade. And honestly, I thought it was going to be really easy. You're just going to be able to rotoscope out and then mask, but there's actually an effect that you can put on to kind of give it this fade without really doing much extra work. And then this is kind of what I came up with. I didn't keyframe or anything, but you can see it's the same exact look, which is really cool. So I just went ahead and went in a new comp and found the clip that I want to affect. Right here, this is the clip, Morgenstern. And the first thing you're going to do is go up to this rotoscope tool up here in the top left, click on that, make sure you're selected on the proper layer, and then go to the first frame in it and double click. And I always say, do a good job rotoscoping. It'll make it look a lot better, especially with this effect. I think it's worth it to spend the time making sure to get the rotoscope properly. It's going to help Adobe know where to scope out for the next frame, as well as your effect's going to look better. So spend the time. I'm going to go a little faster for tutorials like I always do, but if it's your actual music video, spend the time. It's worth it. If you mess up and go outside the lines, you can hold Alt on your keyboard. It'll make the circle red, and then you can erase, I guess, the spots where you don't want. And then you go over to here to preview and just go frame by frame, or you can press play if you're confident it can do a good job masking. For us, it's kind of hard of a clip, so I'm just going to go frame by frame. It doesn't take that long. So you've gone through all the frames. Go ahead and click freeze down here in the bottom right, and it's just going to lock in your rotoscope as well as mask out the background. Then once you've done that, go ahead and click the X on the layer up here, so it brings you back into the composition, and you should see your clip with the background masked out. You can play through and see if you need to fix anything. Like here for a second, looks like his head gets chopped off, but I think that's because there's an arm in the way, so we're not going to go ahead and fix that. But just make sure there's nothing like super obvious. I always like to play around with the RotoBrush matte layer a little bit. Maybe bring up the mask just a little bit so it's a little smoother, since it is a smooth looking effect. And then I'm going to bring in the shift edge just a little bit so the edges are a little more contained. And we can play through that and see what that looks like. I think that's a really clean rotoscope. So then after that, I'm going to go ahead and click on your layer that's rotoscoped, and then go ahead and click Control D. And then go ahead and click on the bottom layer and remove the rotoscope. So the top layer is your rotoscope layer, and the bottom clip is the whole clip that's just default. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is duplicate the rotoscope layer out one more time and click on the middle layer or the bottom of the rotoscope. Go ahead and click S on your keyboard to bring up scale, or you could just go click the arrow, go to transform, and then go to scale. I'm going to make it something like 150 for right now, just so we could see. You can see there's the duplicate. Now he's behind. That's what it should look like for you. That's pretty cool already. It's really basic, and I think that really sells the effect is having the transparency. So go to Effects and Presets and type in Roughen Edges. It's built into After Effects. It's under Stylize, and drag that onto the bottom clip. Then go to Edge Type and make sure you go to Photocopy, and you can see now you have this outline of Morgenstern. And now it basically just comes down to tweaking some settings to make it look a little bit better. So the first thing I play around with is border. I think it's the one that sells the effect the most. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit so we can see for right now. Go to edge sharpness and bring that all the way down just so it's like more of a fade, as well as the fractal influence. Then it kind of has a little bit smoother of a mask. And then the complexity from 2 to 1, I think it just makes it a little smoother as well. And now I go back to the border and play around with how much you want it to actually be faded out. You can have it very slight, or you can have a decent amount. I'm going to go ahead and bring it right around 100. Looks good for me. And you can play around with all different settings. All these different settings will give you different looks. You can see spiky kind of does the opposite, which is a pretty cool effect that you could probably get some cool stuff with. Just play around with all of them. I'm just showing you how to do that inside fade because, like I said earlier, After Effects gets a little weird when you're trying to mask out a rotoscope layer already. It doesn't really work that well, and then you would have to like keyframe and everything. So I just found that this is the easiest way to do it. Then after you do that, you can go ahead and animate the keyframes, do whatever you want with the clone itself. I would just recommend making it so you can see a little bit of that outline. Maybe go to the beginning, scale it from 0 to 1, 2, 3 frames in or something, and have it go to 120 or 150 maybe. Just something so you can see a little bit better. We'll do 130 for this. And then go ahead and highlight the keyframes, click F9, so it eases them, and you can see what that looks like. And my bad, I keyframed it to 0. Keyframe it to 100, and then go 3 frames to the right, and keyframe it to 130. And you can see it kind of zooms out like that, and then you can just Control D, and then I would click on the bottom layer always. And maybe for this one, you would just do 30 scale added each time. And obviously you can do any kind of pattern with this effect. So for here, it's just they're all just gonna come out at the exact same time and get bigger. And that looks pretty cool already. There's a lot of different things you can do as far as animating. I'm not really gonna do a tutorial that much on animating. I would recommend though going to making sure the motion blur is enabled and then motion blurring all of these layers that you just did that to. So when it zooms out, it's a little bit smoother. You can see in their video, they did it a few different ways. They had it like all come out at the same speed right here, or the first one, I think they had it like come out at different speeds. It looked really cool actually. Yeah, so here the way they keyframed it is really cool actually. Just it keeps on coming out and getting bigger. You can do something like that. It's really all about how you animate it. You don't have to make it scale or whatever. You can go through and maybe make it a little bit longer of a transition. Just do whatever you think looks good. I don't want to show you guys exactly what they did and as far as they animated, but just remember when you're doing keyframes and After Effects with clones and stuff, it's all about patterns. So maybe, you know, you could have it delayed 2 frames or something each time for the scale. So you could move that 1, 2, 1, 2, and now now you can see this will come out. Then that one will start coming out a little bit after, and then so on. You can see how that comes out. It's all about patterns and just using almost like a little bit of math and just like adding keyframes and stuff in After Effects to keyframe and animate it properly. That's basically all it comes down to in After Effects. And then you can obviously play with the graph editor as well to make it a little bit smoother. These are all just ideas. I would play around with the animation of the keyframe and kind of make it your own. And then obviously you can add on whatever effects you want to this. That's pretty much all I got for you guys in this one. Honestly, it was just a pretty simple tutorial. I thought it was a really cool and unique way of making clones in After Effects. Obviously, we've seen in a lot of music videos, these clones and stuff, but I thought it was a really cool addition to kind of have this fade. So I was interested in how to do it, and it took me a little bit to figure out. So I figured you guys might have been in the same boat. So yeah, I just went ahead and used roughen edges. I would recommend playing around with your settings, making it your own or whatever. But yeah, shout out PQ and Skip a Frame. I'll have them linked below. They're the editors of this video. So definitely go show some love. They had some really cool and unique effects in music videos that I haven't really seen before. So shout out them for that. It's always refreshing seeing some new stuff in music videos that hasn't been done 1,000 times. If you made it all the way to the end, I really do appreciate you. Thank you very much. And if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, I upload 3 videos a week, so there's bound to be some tutorials or videos. I'm starting to do some vlogs that you will like, as well as check me out on Instagram, Twitch. I'll be streaming every single day of the month of May. We're just reacting to some music videos and stuff, so if you want your video played, come over. I go live like 3 p.m.-ish every day on Central Standard Time. If you want to support me more as a creator and get some digital products, go over to my website, briandelmonte.com. I'll have it linked below. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys.